Very happy to be joined right now by Andrew Scheer, the Conservative House Leader, as well as the MP for Regina Qu'Appelle. Andrew, thank you for joining us this morning.
It's a great honor to be here. Thanks.
So obviously Conservatives are feeling very elated, very happy during this convention, shored up by numbers. I'm kind of wondering what you believe Pierre Poilievre has been able to do to essentially galvanize support, not only within the party, but if the polls are to be believed, beyond the party as well.
Well, I believe it's a number of things. It's his authenticity, it's his consistency. Who Pierre is today is who he's always been, and he's always stayed true to those core principles. I know voters want to hear from someone who's consistent and authentic. He's also talking about the issues that matter to Canadians. I don't need to tell you or your viewers how difficult inflation has hit Canadians. Justin Trudeau caused the inflation with his massive deficit spending, his inflationary fuel on his inflationary deficits adding fuel to the fire, and now interest rates rising to counteract that. That's hurting a lot of Canadian families. You know, people who are renewing their mortgages or trying to pay off their lines of credit. He's also talking about crime, pointing out that Justin Trudeau's catch and release policies when it comes to bail means that dangerous and violent repeat offenders are just released the same day they're arrested. So he's talking about the issues that matters to Canadians. He's got a great way to connect with voters, and I'm very optimistic.
So very much as you go through those issues, the message that people are lobbing onto, and that is uniting the party right now. But I'm wondering about party unity going forward, because we are well, we could be rather 2 years away before the next election. And party unity is oftentimes, as you know very well, a challenge, especially when social issues come up, social policy issues are debated. Is that a problem for Pierre Poilievre, or is it now different than perhaps when you were leader or Erin O'Toole was leader?
Well, you know, any party leader has to always have a mind to that, and I've always believed, and I think you're seeing it with Pierre, that when you stay true to those conservative principles about respecting individual liberty, growing the free market, growing the private sector, growing the economy with core conservative values of letting people keep more of their hard-earned paycheck, that unity will come. And we're seeing that here. You know, this is a very upbeat atmosphere. Yeah, every convention will have some debates and some votes, but people in our party know that you get a say. You might not always get your way, but you get your say. And it's been a very enjoyable convention with a lot of optimism and people who are glad to see Pierre on our, focusing on those issues that are resonating with Canadians, but staying true to those conservative principles as he's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting, though, because as you say that, of course, we're heading into the plenary session where will be essentially debating whether or not to adopt the policies that were examined by party members yesterday. They include prohibiting procedures for gender dysphoria for people under the age of 18, and they address diversity training, they address gender in sport. What happens if that becomes a contentious issue here on the floor? Does that present a problem for Pierre Poilievre? Does that actually also represent an opportunity with which the Liberals could use as a wedge issue to Canadians who are not Conservatives?
Well, you know, the last part of your question, I think, was so telling, because we've seen that from Justin Trudeau, where he tries to divide to distract. He wants people to fear their neighbor so that they don't notice that prices have gone up in the grocery store again, or that another hike to the interest rate means more and more families might not be able to stay in their home. So we know that. It doesn't matter what's on the resolution sheet today. It doesn't matter what topics are going to be debated. We know the Liberals are going to try to do that. We know Justin Trudeau is going to do that anyway. So I'm not terribly concerned about that, because we know what's coming, and I think Canadians are getting kind of tired of it. The leader's going to take a look at what happens today. I'm not going to speak to any particular resolution because I don't know how the members are going to treat it or how they're going to vote. But at the end of the day, the leader's going to look at the policy documents and put together a platform team, put together an agenda and a series of commitments to Canadians that I'm very confident Canadians will appreciate and will resonate with them. And so, as I said, there's just a tremendous amount of optimism knowing that Pierre is going to take those parts of the things that Conservatives believe in and put it in front of Canadians in a way that will resonate.
Is there a concern, though, amongst party leadership and more senior members of the party about alienating the social wing of the party, though? Because, interestingly, the abortion issue has not come up in this convention, and certainly the pro-life campaign looks for allies, and they haven't been heard Is that issue over for the party? Is there still a place for social conservatives in this party?
There's a place for every kind of conservative in this party, and as I said, delegates know that if they support a particular policy item or oppose another one, that this is the place to do it. You come to the convention, you try to rally support with your fellow delegates, and if you do, great. If not, you don't. So it's part of the democratic process, and I believe everyone understands that and appreciates that at least they have an opportunity to fight for the things they believe in.
Is there a danger of alienating that group of the conservative?
When Pierre talks about individual liberty, about allowing people to make their own choices on any number of issues, it's not just one kind of conservatives. I think that this applies to every kind of conservative. Then that's something that we can all agree on. So Pierre's always been able to find those types of principles that unite different kinds of conservatives from different regions. Sometimes there's regional differences. It's not just on philosophical lines, and it's inspiring to watch him do that. And I'm very confident that that's not going to be an issue going forward.
Okay, so what is the message then? Because you are trying to build this Big Ten party. And certainly there are fiscal conservatives we've heard from over the last few days. There are social conservatives we've heard from the last few days. It seems to suggest that you're telling people, be ready to take a little bit of water with your wine. But what do you say to people who are not entirely certain that this is, for all the positive polls at this point, that might still have doubts that this is the party for them?
Well, all I can say is that you ask what the message going forward is, and it's pretty simple. It's Pierre will restore the common sense of the common people. We've got a situation right now in Canada where Justin Trudeau and his Liberals believe that they know best. They don't allow people to make their own choices. They rely on consultants and experts instead of just letting people live their lives and chase their dreams. As a result of that, we've seen massive increases in inflationary spending and big deficits, keeping inflation high and forcing interest rates to rise as well. That's not, when Pierre talks about lowering taxes, axing the carbon tax so that fuel prices come down and grocery prices come down, that's not water in the wine for anybody in this room. That is exciting. People can't wait for that positive vision for Canada to be implemented under Pierre.
Okay, well, from this convention, we'll go on to the House of Commons in about a week's time, so we'll speak then. Andrew Scheer, until then, thank you for the time right now.
Thanks very much.
And that is Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer, also the MP for Regina Qu'Appelle.